Board AX4 spent 35 days training inside Dragon. To prepare them for flight, our teams at SpaceX spent the last several months teaching the crew about orbital mechanics and how to live inside the Dragon spacecraft. Well, this was more of a review for Peggy Whitson. For the rest of the crew, as we mentioned, this is their first time flying to space. Our training program includes nearly 100 different lessons covering all aspects of the flight. The crew spent time inside our Dragon training spacecraft to run simulations of ascent, space station rendezvous, which we are doing right now, and reentry. And they also spent time at the launch pad in our suit-up room and working through emergency procedures that would be necessary in the unlikely event of a pad abort.
Out sphere, and that's that 400-meter mark that we've been talking about, and that's where it's zeroing in on right now. So we've completed the approach initiation burn, which had them about 7 kilometers below the International Space Station. The Axion Mission 4 team, which they have just now hit that mark, which means approximately 400 meters directly below the station. And we can see those wonderful views now, and you can really see that high resolution of Dragon Grace continuing its methodical approach to the International Space Station. Time period, you can see the radiators. That's what's most prominent in the view of the International Space Station.
Dragon will continue approach to waypoint 2. As a reminder, manual impulsive retreat recovery is not permitted.
Adapter and get ready for hatch opening procedures, which will require bringing the vestibule, the space between the two hatches, between the International Space Station and Dragon Grace together. And there we see the orbital sunrise. So Dragon has reached waypoint 0, and on initial comms earlier that you just heard great communications on the big loop from Station and Dragon, as well as the teams in Houston and in Hawthorne for SpaceX and NASA, as the Dragon Grace spacecraft continuing its approach to the International Space Station, carrying Axiom Mission 4 Commander Peggy Whitson, pilot Shubhanshu Shukla of ISRO, Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski of ESA,
Dragon
and Tibor.
Soft capture re-extension complete. Dragon will continue through waypoint 2 without a hold.
Communications there, they were anticipating a brief hold to make sure everything aligns, but Dragon Grace continuing on what has been so far so good, a great rendezvous with the International Space Station. They will proceed to continue past waypoint 2. And you also heard in the communications with NASA astronaut Nicole Ayers, the station ready for docking.
Station Houston on the big loop. Dragon is on final approach and is go for docking. Monitor per steps 5 and 6 and 1.102.
5 meters.
5 meters.
Meters chop.
2
Houston Station, 2 meters chop.
We have chop.
1 meter.
1 meter.
Umbilicals have been completed.
Station on the big loop. Node 2 overhead hatch is open.
So Ann McLean and Nicole Ayers are starting to clear out the hatchway, and we are going to see the first views of Axiom Mission 4. Commander Peggy Whitson, the first one across the A-Pass hatch, receiving great big hugs from Nicole Ayers and the Expedition 73 crew. Axiom Mission 4, welcome aboard the International Space Station. Pilot Shubhanshu Shukla is the next one to come across, representing ISRO. It is his first space flight for Peggy Whitson, her return to the International Space Station on her 5th flight, second as a member of Axiom Space. Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski of ESA, representing the nation of Poland. And their first visit to the International Space Station is next to cross the hatchway. And warm hugs all around. And applause breaking out here inside of Mission Control Houston and International Space Station Flight Control Room, and Tibor Kapu, the fourth and final member of Axion Mission 4, representing Hunor in the nation of Hungary, their first visit to the International Space Station as well. Axiom Mission 4 is now aboard the International Space Station. Commander Peggy Whitson, in her return to the orbiting laboratory, her fifth flight. 3 is a member of NASA, and her second as commander of back at our coverage here inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room.
Station Houston on 2. Thanks for the wave. Great to see everybody.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?